How you talk about your relationship matters. What you share with your friends matters. And that's what we're getting into today on Relearn Relationships. Words carry energy, words carry emotion. And when we talk about something, we are either coming from a place of fear, this is if we completely boil it down to the base emotions, fear, or we're coming from a place of love. So your words are either building something or they're tearing something down. Words are so powerful that you can transform a relationship or your relationship to something through the power of your words, with how you speak about something. It can really start to alter your perception of the thing and your belief about it. This happened to me several years ago. So when I was in college, I developed a pretty unhealthy body image. And it started out of searching for control. I really wanted something I could control in life because there was a lot going on with my family that I had no control over and in some other areas of life, but I found I could control how much I ran and how much I ate. And so it started a really unhealthy journey of being calorie deficient, over exercising, and thankfully I've come out of that place and now I hardly ever do cardio and you're not going to see me calorie counting. But in the course of this, I developed a lot of negative self-talk. And I would speak badly about my body when I would look in the mirror. I would, point out everything that I saw as a flaw, and I would be really hard on myself. And then it bled into other things. I would tell myself I was stupid, I was dumb when I got something wrong or I messed something up or if someone was upset at me. And verbally, out loud, I would say these things about myself. It wasn't until I was 24, I was in a yoga teacher training, and I shared this in one of kind of our circles that, I was really struggling with negative self-talk. And I remember saying out loud the kinds of things I would say to myself, and my teacher was just like, you need to stop. You have to stop doing this to yourself. With everything you're saying, like now you believe it. That's why, your body image and everything is so low. It's because the words you're saying are mean. It's an abusive relationship. The way you're speaking to yourself is cruel. I'm forever grateful for that moment of awareness because it got me to start catching myself. Sometimes I would still say the mean thing, but I was more aware that I was doing it. I wasn't just on autopilot anymore. I would catch myself. And over time, when I would catch myself, I would stop myself. And then the good stuff set in. And that is where I started to substitute something different. I would say something kind to myself. I would say something positive. If I was looking in the mirror, picking myself apart, I would tell myself I was beautiful. If I was being really hard on myself because I felt like I could have done something better, I did something wrong, I'd give myself grace and I would tell myself that, like, take a deep breath, I'm giving myself grace. And over time, this started to change how I viewed myself. It changed the relationship I had with myself and with my body. And now, 10 years later, nothing has really changed. I mean, I've put on some weight and muscle, and I guess one could argue I have more wrinkles now because I'm a decade older. But, I didn't dye my hair a crazy color, I didn't get plastic surgery, but my perception of myself is completely different. Now, when I look in the mirror and I say, Lily, you're beautiful, or I'm beautiful, I own it and I receive it because I like myself now. I like my body. And all of that started by changing the way I talked about myself. And now when I look in the mirror, I remind myself that, Lily, you're beautiful. And I'm in gratitude that I can walk my dogs in the park because my legs are strong. Or, oh, I can do this at the gym because I'm taking care of myself. And I can enjoy good, delicious food because I know I'm fueling my body. And it completely changed my perception of myself and my health simply by changing the words that I allowed to come out of my mouth. Now, let's look at how this can affect relationships. But before we get into that, I want to drop this caveat. What I am about to talk about applies if you are in a relationship with a good-willed person, meaning at their core, you know that your partner cares about you, they are not abusive, they are not cruel to you, that you know that they are genuinely a good person. Okay, now back to how we can use our words to transform relationships. Just like I did with my perception of myself, with my body, changing the way I spoke about myself, changing the words I would allow to come out of my mouth, changed how I would view myself simply by looking in the mirror every day and telling myself something good about myself, appreciating a part of my body. Now, this didn't start with, I am beautiful, because I didn't believe it. And I don't want you to gaslight yourself. So if your relationship honestly kind of sucks right now, you guys aren't communicating, you're not getting along, there's a lot of friction, you're nitpicking each other, looking in the mirror and saying, I love my relationship, I have the best relationship, may feel really disingenuous. So we're not going to start there. We're going to start with just noticing. Notice what you're already saying about your relationship. Notice the way you talk to your partner. Notice your tone. Is it harsh? Is it really cut and super direct in a unkind way? Notice the way you talk about your relationship to other people. When you hang out with your friends, what do you say about your person? When you share something about your relationship, what is the tone in which you're sharing it? Because I do believe it can be helpful to share with a really close friend. If you need sometimes just to process externally, or you need some advice from someone, and it's someone whose advice you truly value, sharing is a great thing to do. Venting, on the other hand, can get you into trouble because if you start bringing your relationship issues to your friends, talking about them incessantly, never really doing anything to try to heal whatever the rupture is, whatever's going on, and you're just talking about it, you're just amping yourself up and you're poisoning your friend's view of your partner. So notice how you're talking to your partner, notice how you're talking about your relationship, and then notice the things you mutter to yourself. And this might just be thoughts at first. These might be the thoughts that are going through your head, but you might even say these thoughts out loud sometimes. I know I have. I'll trip over my partner's shoes and something unkind may come out of my mouth about the shoes. And I just want you to notice that stuff. Like how much negativity and how much complaining is coming out of your mouth regarding your relationship. Step 2, I want you to say something good because we're going to look for solutions here. We're going to look for the good here. We're training our mind to look for the good. Now, if you want to start with a gratitude practice, which is going to be a little bit more thought-based because you're writing, you're not necessarily saying it out loud. But if you want to start with a gratitude practice, you could do that. Write down something every day you appreciate about your partner and say it aloud. Read it out loud to yourself. Again, so you're saying the words, you're putting them out there, you're putting the energy out. But it might be you're just walking around the house and you realize something, or you're driving to work and you realize something you appreciate about your partner. I want you to say it out loud. If there's a particular place where you find yourself constantly complaining, like for me, I would pick at myself when I was looking in the mirror. So it might not be when you're looking in the mirror that you're picking at your relationship, but there might be a certain place or a certain situation or a certain time of day you find yourself kind of more disgruntled. That can be a great place to say something out loud that you appreciate about your partner. The next thing I want you to do is to start to change the way you talk about your relationship with your friends. So again, if you are someone who vents and complains to their friends, I want you to stop. Because for one, if you're venting and complaining to your friends and you're doing nothing to heal your relationship, you're not doing anything to actually work on the relationship and make progress towards your goal of being closer together, you're just complaining and you're just venting, your friends are sick of listening to you. Trust me, they are sick of it. They don't need another update about how he won't do this or she's doing this again. If you are not making an effort to improve your relationship, you're only complaining, then just stop talking about it. I want you to try this. Now, if you want to improve your relationship and sharing with your friends is helpful, I want you to try to share like this. Share the emotion, whatever it is you're feeling. If something actually happened, an interaction between you and your partner that you're sharing with this close friend that will keep things confidential, someone you can trust, then share the facts of what actually happened and then say, the story I'm making up in my head about this is, and then you can share some messy things. You can share more of those frustrations or maybe the things you're scared of and feeling insecure about. But I want you to own that this is the story that you're making up in your head. It's not necessarily fact. It's what you're experiencing. It's what you're feeling. And then this is where we differentiate between venting and complaining to making progress towards a better relationship. I either want you to get clear on something you are going to do to work on the situation and verbalize that to your friend. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to have an honest conversation and share this with my partner. Or if this is someone who you're talking to whose advice you really value, maybe they have a relationship that you really admire, or they have great perspective, then ask them, what do you think I could do to improve the situation? What am I not seeing? What could be my partner's perspective or point of reference? Get them to help you see the bigger picture so that you can have more information and work on mending the rupture between you and your partner instead of just constantly complaining and bringing up the same grievance over and over again. Let's actually do something about it and heal it. So the first thing I want you to do is notice what you're saying out loud and say something kind, something appreciative about your partner to yourself, out loud to yourself. But it doesn't have to be, around anyone else. This can be like I did, looking in the mirror, telling myself I'm beautiful. It could be every day when you get up saying, I'm open to the possibility that I am going to have a great relationship. And having that first part, I'm open to the possibility, is really helpful because then it's believable. Because if you don't believe you have a great relationship, telling yourself, I have a great relationship, again, like we said earlier, doesn't really land. But if you're open to the possibility that you have a great relationship, it leaves room for growth. And then pay attention to how you're speaking around your friends about your partner and clean that up, make it productive. And now the last part, speak life to your partner. I want you to share things you appreciate about your partner to them. Tell your man that thing that you really like about him. Tell your girl that thing that you really appreciate about her. Do it, say it. If you see something, say something. That applies to your relationship. If you see your partner doing something that you're like, oh, that was pretty cool, or that was pretty awesome, or maybe you hear something about someone else's relationship and you think to yourself, I'm so glad that I don't have that problem with my person. Tell your person that. Tell them whatever it is that you appreciate about them, the good you see in them. Be kind to them with your words. Make it a point every single day to compliment your partner, because what you're doing is you're depositing these positive interactions into your relationship bank account. So that way, when something does happen that's negative, that's hurtful, you're not running on empty, right? Like, you have some cash in there to pay the bill, the debt from the negative interaction. You're not working with a deficit. Words are so important. This is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about communication, because I truly believe that everything can be figured out. Now, it doesn't mean every relationship lasts forever, and I don't think every relationship needs to last forever, but at least we can get on the same page. And this Thursday, January 9th, I am hosting a masterclass. If you're listening to this before January 9th, I'm hosting a masterclass. It's the 3 silent killers of relationships and how to tackle them. And we are going to go into 3 things that kill your communication in relationships and the simple antidotes to start working on them. I would love for you to join me. There is a link in the show notes. It is free to come live, and there will be a replay available to you for 72 hours. Now, if you're listening to this, it's after January 9th, 2025. Please go to relearnrelationships.com, because there will be a way for you to get your hands on this masterclass. Thank you so much for listening. If this has been helpful, then please like, subscribe, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, and share this with a friend, because I truly believe relationships are what make life worth it. So let's make 2025 the year of fantastic relationships.